There are a lot of mixers out there with a variety of use cases, and the Mackie DLZ Creator is an interesting solution that fits a number of workflows. It's also a very powerful device. For me, my use case is a ton of work Zoom calls, a lot of gaming, and a little bit of streaming. But before you can do any of the above, you need to set up your mic. As with many of you out there, I use the Shure SM7B dynamic mic, and it's been my daily workhorse for years. Hey gamers, my name is Minus10, and I'm a middle-aged gamer that enjoys all gear related to gaming, streaming, and content creation. Setting up the Shure SM7B does take a fair bit of trial and error, and in this video, I review how I set up my Shure SM7B on my Mackie DLZ Creator XS. Before we go into the details, this setup is from the perspective that you are replacing a mic and not doing a first boot of the Mackie DLZ Creator XS. In addition, I have my Mackie set to the Pro mode. This can be changed from the settings screen by single tapping the gear icon on the upper right corner of the overview screen, tapping Control mode, and then selecting Pro. The first step is connecting your Shure SM7B to the Mackie mixer. This step is pretty straightforward. The Mackie DLZ Creator has two XLR inputs with the option of 1/4 inch plugs for a variety of audio gear. For me, I use the XLR input 1 and connect my Shure SM7B with a high quality Mogami Gold Studio cable. If you have a ton of electronic gadgetry around your mic, you might as well get a high quality XLR cable to avoid any interference. To set up your Shure SM7B, click on the home button on the lower left side of the Mackie DLZ Creator XS. I love this button as it's the quickest way to get back to the Mackie's overview screen. On the DLZ Creator display's bottom row, the first two channel ID buttons are for your mics. As I have my Shure SM7B assigned to the XLR input 1, I double tap on that button. This will take you to a rather colorful channel setup screen. First, click on the preset button and select SM7B by scrolling to the bottom of the options. Then tap on the load button and this will load the preset. Next, feel free to change the channel icon and color by tapping this screen. Red is my go-to color, and I left the icon alone. Once both are selected, click on the X and it will be updated. Now it's time to name your mic. For me, I stick with the basics and call my mic by what it is, Shure SM7B. Again, click on the X button to save and close this screen. As you're using a dynamic mic, you don't need to click the 48 volts of phantom power. Next, for most folks, I'd recommend using Set Gain Automatically. Depending on your environment, voice, and a few other factors, your gain should end up somewhere in the plus 50 to 60 decibel range. The Mackie DLZ Creator XS preamps are excellent and one of the big reasons why I switched to it. Both inputs can provide up to 80 decibels of extra power, so you won't need any boosters. For the pan, reverb, and delay sends, I just leave these buttons alone. In this section, I'll provide my various EQ settings, but feel free to explore what sounds best for your voice and room environment. For the EQ, gate, compressor, and de-esser settings, you'll need to use the quick control knobs that are located to the right of the Mackie screen. The screen is touch capable, but I like the ability to use the quick control knobs for finer tuning. For the EQ, there are a few presets to choose from, and I like the Sparkle preset the best. I turn the high pass filter on to keep out the really low frequencies that may come from your room environment, and I set my HPS filter to 31 Hz. For the next three frequency ranges, I set 1 to 3 kHz, 2 to plus 2 decibels, and 3 to 3.12. For the gate, I use the noise gate preset and set the threshold to negative 35 decibels, the range to negative 19 decibels, the attack to 10 milliseconds, and the release to 105 milliseconds. Next up, for the compressor, I use the following settings. threshold -15 decibels, ratio 3.2 to 1, attack 2.1 milliseconds, and release at 102 milliseconds. Lastly, for the de-esser, I use the 6.4 kilohertz preset and set the frequency to 6.4 kilohertz, the preset, threshold at -47.8 decibels, range at -11.4 decibels, and the width at 3.47 Q. As I'm not an audio expert, you'll need to research what each of these audio settings control, but I found the above settings sound well for my voice and home environment, which is a large open room. Here is a sample output from my Shure SM7B with the settings discussed. This is a test of my Shure SM7B on my Mackie DLZ Creator XS. All settings for my Shure SM7B are listed at the end of this video. Test 1, 2, 3. Do explore and tinker with your EQ, gate, compressor, and de-esser settings, and find a mic output that you enjoy. Once finished, I highly recommend saving your settings to a snapshot. From the home screen, click on the snapshot button located at the top center of the Mackie screen. Click the disk icon, type in your snapshot name, and then tap the enter button. This will save the settings for easy fallback in case you make a lot of future changes that really don't pan out. So this is how I set up my Shure SM7B on the Mackie DLZ Creator XS. These settings work for my home environment, and I hope you found this helpful. I'm curious about my community setup, so please do post your mic and mic settings below. If you enjoyed this quick Mackie DLZ Creator XS tutorial, I'd really appreciate a like on the video, as well as a sub if you would like to follow me as a creator. All comments below are welcome too. Thanks for watching.